Welcome to America's Heroes Group.
And welcome to America's Heroes Group, the Roundtable with Jesse Brown, VA Works. My name is Sean Claiborne, National Guard veteran, U.S. Army National Guard, Illinois. October is National Breast Cancer and Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Today is Saturday, October 9th, 2021. Cliff Kelly is our host. Executive producer is Glenda Smith, and our digital media producer is Ivan Ortega of Scouts Honor Productions. Today we have a great show for you. Today we're going to talk about a couple of things that are really important for veterans and also about feeding people that are hungry. We have a special panelist on the line with us today, a regular, Allyson of Vaulx. Are you with us today? You hear us?
Thank you.
How you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
Pretty good. Did I pronounce your last name right? Is that Vaulx?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
So you're the VP of Development and Communications with the Food Bank of Northwest Indiana. You're responsible for securing financial resources for the organization, such as funding, grants, getting volunteers, corporate donors, and things like that. So tell us some of the things that you're working on now, and also you have a food drive coming up November 10th. I want to hear about that as well.
Thank you. So the Food Bank of Northwest Indiana is responsible for providing food assistance to food insecure individuals in Northwest Indiana. That's basically individuals, families, seniors, children, veterans who don't have consistency of food from day to day, and that could be for a variety of reasons. So we provide food assistance through a variety of vehicles. Mobile market food distributions are probably one of my favorite because they're the most efficient. It's basically we take truckloads of new, fresh, purchased food, also mixed in with government subsidies to a different location in Northwest Indiana. We probably do about 6 to 7 mobile markets per week, and the fact that they travel means that the mobile market food distributions are accessible to more people right in their local communities. We are planning on, we wanted to do something special for veterans. Veterans have a high rate of food insecurity, especially in Northwest Indiana. And leading up to Veterans Day, we are planning 2 very special mobile market distributions specifically for veterans and their families. We're working with 2 organizations that serve veterans to ensure that the groceries and the food actually gets to them. One of our partners is the Adam Benjamin VA in Crown Point, Indiana, in Lake County, and we're also hosting a Porter County mobile market distribution for veterans in the day before.
Mm-hmm. So your mobile market brings food to the food deserts. I think that's a great thing, and that's pretty remarkable. What are the challenges of getting it to veterans, in the hands of veterans? And a lot of people don't realize, I think, is that there is a lot of people that are that need some kind of subsistence who are veterans and their families, not just for veterans, but even service members.
So true. One of the greatest challenges is getting the food to them, the groceries to them, and so access. Mobile market is designed the way it is because it's extremely cost efficient, and it goes right to where the people are who need the food assistance the most. When we thought about this project, we contacted organizations that we were confident had veterans as clients, as customers, just had the kind of access that we don't necessarily have on a day-to-day basis. You were right. We do particularly look to serve food deserts because the accessibility is just not there. Mm-hmm. With the mobile market food distributions, we're also very intentional about providing fresh produce. For this particular set of mobile market distributions on November 8th and 9th for veterans, we're doing about 50 pounds of groceries, and included with that is a box of fresh produce that can be consumed immediately if necessary: apples, oranges, bananas, and some other things that are really easy to consume and also to prepare if needed.
And one thing I like about it, you're also doing things that seem nutritional. So fruits and vegetables, particularly in food deserts, seem to be a big issue because a lot of times in food deserts, what you do have there is a lot of chips. You got a whole bunch of hot chips. You got a whole bunch of soda. You got a lot of sugar and salt, which is not necessarily good for the diet. So what are the challenges of getting and securing sources of fresh fruit and also healthy food?
For food banks, it's becoming a little less challenging as part of, the Food Bank of Northwest Indiana is part of a national network, the Feeding America Network, where 200 food banks nationwide are working to address food insecurity. Through the Feeding America Network and some amazing partnerships that are possible because of that large network, we get access to fresh produce in a way that local communities, local stores might not be able to. So currently, we have so many initiatives that are allowing us to add fresh produce to our food distribution, some partnerships, the Partnership for a Healthier America. We're also we have some grants that are specifically designed, United Way of Northwest Indiana. These are two new partnerships that are allowing us to specifically add fresh produce to our mobile market food distribution.
I think that's amazing. And then for this particular event, you're targeting about 250 veterans and their families. Does that sound about right?
We have a Lake County and a Porter County. For the Porter County one, we are targeting 150 veterans, and then for the Lake County one, at the Adam Benjamin VA, we're targeting 200 veterans. So a total of 350. We are prepared to do a little bit more than that if necessary, but that's our target number for right now.
Okay. Now, lately, inflation is being a big issue with food prices, and everybody's seen that in the grocery stores. Like I looked at the IMF website, for example. From April 2020, international food producers have increased their pricing by about 47%, which is the highest level since on record. This was just last May. Prices jumped like 40-50% on the production side of things. And then we're also seeing unprecedented food shortages inside grocery stores during the pandemic. Then we also have supply shortages because the supply chain is kind of busted. How has that impacted your ability to get food out to the people?
There's been a tremendous impact. As I mentioned just a couple of seconds ago, really the only way that we're able to add in fresh produce at the capacity that we're doing in November and the months coming is because of funding from partners and organizations, corporations that understand exactly what you're saying. It's a reality for us as well. Outside of these partnerships, these collaborations, and these types of funding, it's limited what we can provide. So we're just extremely grateful that with all of the challenges that our nation is facing, food-wise, farmers, all of those kinds of things, that we have partners, relationships, and collaborations with those that understand the need is still there. Regardless of these things that are happening, our communities, our neighbors still need healthy, nutritious food.
Mm-hmm. And how can people donate, support you guys? Also, what types of, even at the corporate level? So if we have business owners and major corporations that might be listening to this broadcast either on YouTube or follow us on Facebook, on Twitter. Give us your social media contacts, how they can reach you, and also what information do they need in order to get involved to help you with your mission?
Thank you. It's extremely simple to get connected to the Food Bank of Northwest Indiana. Our social media channels are very active right under that name, Food Bank of Northwest Indiana, and giving is just as simple. It's just foodbanknwi.org/give. And there's so many different ways you can give. Of course, we appreciate financial resources, but we also value time. We have a high need for volunteers to help us with the food distribution, the food packing and sorting. And so multiple ways that you can get engaged with the food bank just by visiting either one of those channels, Food Bank of Northwest Indiana.
Okay. Now, one thing also, too, I wanted to talk about. So there's sometimes people, in my opinion, I've seen that the desire or the need for people to get food, to go into a food bank, because nowadays you can go almost anywhere. During the pandemic, you saw a lot of places where people were putting up makeshift refrigerators out in the open where people could just go and actually just either donate food or pick up food. Do you see a stigma still there for people to admit or to come and ask for food or get help? Is because it affects everyone at different, social levels. You have people that live in nice neighborhoods, people live in low to moderate income neighborhoods that they suffer food insecurity. So do you see that the mindset of the people changing as far as the stigma attached to asking for help, asking for food?
That's such an excellent question. I believe that there is always going to be shame associated with it, just because of the culture and the environment that we live in. With the Food Bank of Northwest Indiana and other food banks, we aggressively work to remove any stigma associated with getting food assistance. We're fully aware that there is no face to hunger. It's not just a homeless person, or it's not just a whatever, but the face of hunger is you or me. And we address food insecurity, which means that at any point in your life, you could need food assistance. It could be a widow who had been relying on her husband for her husband's income, and then all of a sudden found herself needing a little bit of assistance. And so we design our service in order to alleviate any shame associated with it. We ask for proof of residency, but we don't turn anyone away. Currently, we're still in pandemic mode at most food banks, because we're still seeing elevated numbers of individuals and families needing assistance. To give an example, every other year prior to 2020, our food bank served approximately 25,000 people per year.
Wow.
Well, in 2020, we served more than 650,000 people per year. So that, yes, there might be a shame associated with it, but those numbers, that spike in numbers, reflect how great the need was during that time. What we're seeing in 2021, the numbers aren't quite at the 650,000, but they're still elevated, way up high above any other year any other service year. And so what's helping, I believe, last year, is that we were forced to go to transition to a drive-through distribution method for the mobile market. And so that means you drive up, you show your ID through the window or out the window, however you choose, and you pop your trunk and you get your groceries loaded into your trunk, and that's it. And so the pandemic, we transitioned to that, but we discovered that, to address your question directly, it's helping to minimize any stigma or shame associated with coming to get food assistance, even greater than before. So it's there. The stigma, the shame is there. But at food banks nationwide, really work hard to alleviate or to minimize that as much as possible.
So my next question is twofold. So first, if you don't have it handy, get a phone number that people can call to get information, also because a lot of veterans, particularly older people, don't like to get on the internet and not savvy with cell phones, things like that. So for that audience, because we have a big radio audience, do you have a phone number that they can call? But then also give out one more time the information for your contacts, for social media, all the good stuff, so people know where to find you and your locations and so on.
Definitely. So I am going to give you the veterans mobile markets are Monday, November 8th and Tuesday, November 9th. We're still finalizing the Porter County location, but the Lake County location is at the Adam Benjamin VA, 9301 Madison Street in Crown Point from 2 until 4 p.m. That's Tuesday, November 9th. If you want to sign up to get text message notifications about the mobile market, where they travel, where they're going, the times and things like that, you can use your text messaging number. Simply text MARKET, which is MARKET, to area code 219-500-6464. That's 219-500-6464, and simply text MARKET, and you'll get text message notifications about upcoming mobile markets, usually a couple of days in advance. If you just want general information about the mobile market, and other food bank food assistance programming, our direct line is 219-980-1777. 219-980-1777. And we just happy to help any way that we can.
I think it's great, too. One thing that reiterates that, like you mentioned before, you don't ask for ID. You don't ask for, like, that. No, you don't have to bring your DD-214 or any of that kind of stuff. You basically just show up. And do you still have the drive-through service, where you can just drive through and pop the trunk, or is that discontinued?
Yes. Okay. For the veterans, for all of our mobile markets, but specifically for the veterans, they are still drive-through. Yep. Same thing. And no DD. We did wrestle. We talked about whether we wanted to require something because we do want veterans to show up. But we decided against it. And so no DD, no credentials are required, basically. You show up, you just, you show ID. We do track where the cities, the state, the areas that people are coming from. But beyond that, nothing more. Pop your trunk, get your groceries, and you're off.
And where do you see the biggest need in our area, at least, anyways, the areas that you serve? Where do you see the most underserved communities, and what types of things do they really need that could be done, maybe at the government level, to try to improve these food deserts and also improve access to healthy food?
So the greatest need is definitely in areas where food deserts exist. I do think I don't want to get into a huge
name any names.
Discussion. I know huge discussion about this.
I wanted to hear those names. See where are these places? Where are these aldermen and mayors that are to step up to the plate and try to encourage to get businesses to come into those communities and grocery stores coming into those communities besides gas stations selling hot chips.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, some of them are in Northwest Indiana, some of the obvious ones where the rates of food insecurity are the highest. Not just that, but high rates of seniors. So what we've learned in our work is that seniors and children will always need assistance. Children who are on free and reduced lunch, they have consistency, for breakfast and lunch at school, but not necessarily when they go home or even on the weekend. So areas like Gary, Hammond, East Chicago, and areas in Chicago that kind of border those areas are probably always going to need food assistance. I think that help comes in the way of some of the things that already exist: increased SNAP benefits, allowing SNAP to be used on Instacart. If it doesn't help if you have SNAP benefits if you don't have transportation. So just alleviating barriers to the access, and farmers, having farmers markets in communities like these and educating people on the benefit of eating, consuming, growing fresh produce. I don't want to get on my soapbox, but
no, go ahead. I agree with you 100% because I would love to see. Because you mentioned two things. First of all, there's farmers markets and local farmers and locally grown food that has yet to find a market or yet to find a full market where they can attract people that actually could be benefiting from that. And those guys are growing the exact food that we need to eat as humans so that we can be stronger, better, smarter, and not have high blood pressure and diabetes when we're
True. And in order, though, we have to teach and educate our neighbors on the value of consuming healthy food, and that by consuming these things, you're lowering blood pressure. So it's multifold.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
There are so many things that we can do in order to address food insecurity. It's not just food banks. It's not just churches and pantries. As a community, there's so many simple and key things that we can do to begin to alleviate and to help with needs for food, hunger overall.
Mm-hmm. And so city planners, mayors, corporations that work in the food service, think about that and start to do things a little bit better. So thank you very much,
definitely.
Allyson, for your time. Thank you for all the work that you do. You've done and touched on some really important topics, and I hope people take that to heart. I appreciate your time with us.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for having me and for allowing us to share this great work, this great mission. Hunger is a real issue in our community, and we're just pleased to be able to be working in this space.
America's Heroes Group, we'll be right back.